7 years ago, I was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. I was 16 years old, and so throughout my entire senior year, I was in and out of the hospital, mostly in.
For my relationship with her, I had her as a brand new grad nurse. So I was just starting out, I had just graduated. I remember that she really wanted to go to prom, and they said no. Her body wasn't ready for that. And as a nurse, you know, those moments, they touch you, and they're difficult, but you try and hold it together and keep a sense of strength about you, I guess. I remember getting in the car that day and driving home, and it was the first time that I just broke down. I was in the parking garage and I just sobbed.
Sometimes at that point when you're so sick, you don't think that people care about anything else besides the fact that you're sick.
They're not just a diagnosis, they're not just a treatment, they're not just a room number that you're concerned about for the day, they're a person. And if you allow them to be that to you, then you should reflect that back to them as well.
I was so sick for so long, I was just so tired of the hospital. I never wanted to see it again. Once I started feeling better and getting better, I was like, no, these nurses had such an impact on my life, and I think that relationship really kind of kicked my butt into thinking, you know, I do want to be in the hospital and I do want to be a nurse. I was able to get in my dream school, which was right behind where I was treated, and I was like, here we go, I'm on my journey to becoming a nurse.
At CU, I teach in the sim lab.
It was an early morning. I was in my peds simulation lab.
The students had been asking me a bunch of questions, what it's like to be a real nurse on the floor, what does it really feel like to interact with patients, and so I was kind of giving them some stories.
We're talking about patient interaction and things like that, and how patient connection can be really therapeutic.
Olivia started to chime in and talk about what it was like to be a patient. I looked at her and I just said, "You're Olivia."
It was just kind of like it clicked for both of us.
She burst into tears and I burst into tears, the whole classroom burst into tears, and I have no other words to describe it but incredibly impactful and powerful.
Those are the kind of relationships that I'm looking for when I'm, you know, a nurse, and it was almost like closure for me, like closure that I didn't know I needed.
It almost seems like full circle in a very short amount of time. Her story impacted me so much. She taught me a lot of what it is to be a nurse and what it is to care for your patients and to love them and to be invested in them. And then to have her in the classroom where I'm teaching her skills to be a nurse was unbelievable. She's a powerful little teacher, that one.
I have a heart for kids that are going through what I went through. That's why I want to be a nurse. I want to have the same impact as my nurses did on me, and I would love to pursue a career in pediatric oncology.